Hey friends, how are you? I am excited to come into Facebook land today and share some things. So today, I cannot believe it is April 1st, and I feel like I have no time for April Fool's jokes. Let's just get down to business because April 1st just feels really good. What about you guys, right? So as you come in, say hello. How are you guys doing today? It's April 1st. And for some reason, I don't know if you guys are feeling it, but I feel like April 1st feels really good, right? So we are moving into Q2. Actually, we're in Q2, right? It's April 1st. And I wanted to share a little bit about spring cleaning my business and what that really looks like and share some tips for you because I'm doing that right now. And many of you have asked what I do because I feel like Q1 sometimes just happens. And so how can I provide you, at least with the tools that I do, so that Q2 is better than Q1, right? And that's just the way my world goes. I don't know about you, but this winter, at least for me, has been kind of like a hibernation, right? Some slow moving, some reflection, some pivots and changes, and those are all beautiful. Painful at times, but really figuring out what those next steps are. But just like anytime we're doing like a health program or you want to lose weight or you want to switch your goals around, like there really is a time to clean the clutter, to clear the clutter before we really can step into the new. And this is like, it's so interesting because you can apply this to so many ways. When I used to be a health coach a long time ago, we talked about clearing the clutter before you can really move into the next thing. So as you come in, say hello. And it's Monday and April 1st and Q2 all at the same time. Now, April 1st is I love April 1st. It was actually my grandmother's birthday, who's no longer with us. But so I usually stop to think about this day a little bit. And I wanted to share with you my top three categories that I do a business detox or a spring cleaning my business in the spring. And it's something that I feel like really helps me propel forward for the rest of the year. And I want to share with you three different topics that I try to clean up on. And so hopefully this can help you guys. And even if you're not an entrepreneur and you're just one of my friends, I think this can really be helpful. It doesn't really matter if you are in business or not, but I think particularly those of you that are entrepreneurs or starting businesses, this can be really helpful. So what it looks like spring cleaning my business, right? So for me, spring, I love spring. I think especially since I've been in Seattle for the last 8 years, we've been cleaning up our yard. And as you notice, there's like little buds starting to come on the trees and on the plants. And hey, Jennifer. And so little plants are kind of popping up. And to me, it's a sign of new life, right? Like this is spring. And even though it's not the first day of spring, I feel like it's, for us entrepreneurs, it kind of is because it's Q2. And so what I like to do is stop, and I actually teach this in the mastermind that I run called the Sister Mind. And we sit back and say, okay, what's next? But before we can move into the next, we have to clear the clutter and really shed anything that's no longer serving us anymore, right? So I have three categories I want to go over you and what are some examples of how we can spring clean those categories. And one is your outer physical space, which is pretty self-explanatory, your digital space, and your mental space. Okay, so these are things that are really important for you to keep in mind, especially if you haven't hit your goals yet. So sometimes if you are working on your business or working on the things that you really want to achieve for the year, many of you have done goal planning, goal achievement, wrote down all your goals in December or January. Q2 is a really important time to stop and make any adjustments that you need because the year has already kicked off. This is why Q2 is it's a pretty important quarter. So getting into cleaning out my business and what that looks like, okay? And allowing, because if you said these things, say you wanted to start a podcast, or say you wanted to speak on stage, or say you wanted to, again, fill in the blank, have this partnership with this new person, whatever, maybe you have a financial goal that you're trying to make and you haven't hit it yet. So we all have goals that we want. And if we're not hitting them yet. And many times we're procrastinating or we're having perfectionism in the way, right, of why we're not doing it. This is going to be really helpful for you. Okay. So number one is cleaning up your outer space, right? That's your outer physical space. It's pretty self-explanatory. Not only are we doing it in our yards and cleaning up, I know Renee and I are doing our closets, recondoing everything right now. As you can see, I still have a lot to do, but cleaning up your physical space, again, to make way for the new. Okay, so just as, you can't just keep on piling things up and then you have these piles around you, it feels very constrictive, right? It feels very claustrophobic. And so we really need to get rid of what's not serving you anymore so that we can move forward. So obviously your physical space, going through files, books, things that no longer serve you, that no longer, maybe you've changed and pivoted. Like for me, there's things that when I quit my corporate job, like I don't need to keep these things around anymore. So get them out of your physical space, right? So that's number one, okay? That's your physical outer space. Number two is your digital space, which I feel like we tend to neglect because, let's be honest, we can just keep on saving things on our computer and just hope that they are just hanging out. But really going through your digital space and looking at what's no longer serving you, right? So what does that look like? I want to give you some examples. So not only are we talking about our email inbox, which for me is an Achilles heel for me. I'm constantly battling my email inbox, but cleaning that up, deleting everything that you no longer need. But what I was also noticing is going through old subscriptions, so software subscriptions or different things that maybe you've tried out that you forgot that you still are active. Associations and memberships that maybe no longer serve you anymore, maybe you've outgrown them, or maybe you just don't even participate in or use them anymore. Many of these types of subscriptions are on like a yearly annual subscription. And so if you don't recognize when they renew, then you might, be out some money. So right now, pause and take an inventory. I know I just came up with a few that in the next month will be renewing. I'm like, oh, I need to cancel these before they renew. So do a digital detox, go through, also like Facebook groups and just people that you follow, right? Like you can do a digital detox and do a digital cleanup, spring cleaning on staying focused, right? Because I don't know about you too, on Facebook, right? You're like friending people and you're joining groups and you're following all these people and you're liking these businesses. And so maybe you take a moment to go through and just clean up that digital space. Because as we, again, are collecting more, things get put on your shoulders and then you feel heavier and you feel more claustrophobic. And especially if you are building a business, especially an entrepreneur, right, or a solo entrepreneur, like there's a lot of noise out there. And one of the things that I've learned is you many times need to quiet the noise to get really creative and to move forward and to stop comparing yourself to others. And so take this time to really detox and spring clean your digital space. And that's also like files on your computer that you just don't need anymore. All those opt-ins that you guys have, I'm guilty, right? All the opt-ins and the free ebooks and the guides that we've all downloaded, like really, if we don't need them, get rid of them, right? So we're cleaning out. Because again, if we keep on piling it on, it's going to be harder to move forward. Think of it as like a physical thing. I always think of, I'm a big fan of The Labyrinth, those are my 80s fans. And you think of the, what is that? There was one of the goblins that like carried everything on her back and she kept on adding things when they were in the junkyard. And things just keep on getting built up and you add more of them and more of them and it's going to slow you down, right? So we need to take a moment to just shut it all off and no longer what serves you. So that was number two, is clearing up your digital space. Number three is clearing up your mental space, which I think is many times the hardest, but many times the most important. And so what does that look like, is cleaning up your mental space, is taking a moment to recognize stories that we're telling ourselves of why we can or cannot have that thing, any grudges that we're hanging on to. Is there anybody that we need to forgive? Is there anybody that we need to get back to? So that's like physical, a little bit more physical, but sometimes we have these things lingering in the backs of our head that we're holding on to. And sometimes we just need to air it out and clean it up, because what happens is many times when we're taking an inventory on why we haven't achieved the success that we want or the goals that we're chasing, there's something getting in our way and holding us back. And many times it's us, right? And I've seen this over and over again, especially working with highly ambitious women, is we get in our own way. And this is one of the main things that we address in the mastermind that I run, which will be starting in a couple more months if anybody's interested in joining. But it's literally getting out of our own way. So the negative self-chatter that we talk of why we can't achieve it, of why we're too tired, of why we're too stressed, right? The fears that come up. Well, what if I fail? What if I succeed? What if somebody judges me? What if fill in the blank? What if this doesn't really happen? What if I put all this energy and effort into this and it just falls flat, or nobody signs up for my thing, right? Like, these are the thoughts and the fears that come up constantly for my clients. What if they say no to that speaking gig that I wanted to apply for, right? All the things. There's endless amount of fears and doubts that come up when that little devil on our shoulder is telling us why we can't do the things that we really want. And that is mental clutter, you guys. Fears and doubts are mental clutter that holds us back from achieving the thing that we really want. And after doing this years and years on myself and on my clients, there is a way to break free from it. There is a way to liberate yourself from the fears that are holding you back, the doubts, the imposter syndrome, all of the things. And I've actually developed a process, a very loving process that I take my clients through to really get them over their fears so that they can fully step into achieving the success that they want, getting that thing, moving forward with that goal in a way that feels good to them. Because again, what happens with fears and doubts is many times we don't want to talk about them, right? It's a little bit taboo to talk about fear, because most people out there are like, oh, be fearless. Oh, just like get out there and get it done. But the problem with fears and doubts is they don't go away. They stay under the surface. And as we have more fears and doubts that pop up of why we can't achieve the goal that we're really hitting towards, it just gets shoved back. And again, just like I was saying earlier about your physical space and your digital space, is it gets piled on, right? We get piled on and it just weighs us down. So as we want to spring into spring, as we really want to get forward on our goals, as we really want to do all the things, right? And let me know in the comments below, do you have a goal that you're just like, if I could do this in the next quarter, I would be so happy? Let me know. Like, I want to know what you really want to get done in Q2, because if we want to know, if we get clear on what we want, then we can also bring to the surface our fears and our doubts of why maybe we can't have it or can't achieve it. And so this is actually the process that I take my clients through. And I'm actually really excited because this Thursday, I'm teaching my very first free masterclass virtually online that you can register for. And it's called Liberate and Leverage Your Fear. And it's on April 4th, this Thursday at 10:30 Pacific, 1:30 Eastern. And I'm so excited to go over this process with you guys, because it's really, it's amazing to be able to take something that seems taboo, that seems scary, right? And work with it. So you're working with your fears instead of letting them prevent you from what you want, right? And so I really want to take you through the process that I've been using for the last couple of years privately with my one-on-one clients and in my mastermind. So if you are wanting to do this, if you feel like it's your time to finally do the thing, to finally step up, to finally ask for the raise, to finally ask for that client, to finally start your podcast, to be featured on TV, like all the things, you guys. There's no reason why we can't have it. But the biggest problem is getting in our own way. So again, going kind of as a review, how to spring clean your business. And this is what I'm doing currently. So I thought I would share. Cleaning up your physical outer space, right? And I gave you some examples. So if you're just joining, watch the replay. Cleaning up your digital space, okay, and what that looks like, and then cleaning up your mental space. So how we can really let go of the past stories, the doubts, and the fears that are holding us back from fully stepping into all the goals and the success that we want confidently, without having those fears pop up, without those doubts and anxieties popping up. Okay, so I will pop the link in the comments below if anybody's wanting to register for the free virtual masterclass. This is Thursday. It's going to be close and intimate. I'm literally going to walk you through the process because I really believe that there's no reason why we can't remove our fears. We can't work with them so that we then can get what we want, because that's what it's about. That's what I want for you as a success coach, is just to get out of our own way, because you have too many amazing things to do in the world. I know you guys have, no matter what your goals are, like, you can achieve them. We just have to get out of our own way. So that's my Monday tip sharing here. I'm really feeling the spring. I hope you guys are having a wonderful spring as well, and kind of take in mind my 3-step process to spring clean your business. And I hope you join me on Thursday. So I'll pop the link below. Register, join me. It's free, and I'm going to take you through the whole process so that basically by Friday of this week, nothing will stop you from really achieving your Q2 goals. Okay, that's the thought. So I will talk to you guys later, and see you really soon, hopefully on Thursday. Bye.